So the CPF scheme is good, but it can be improved. It works well for most Singaporeans, but not quite for all, especially the lower income. And also, it's not quite flexible enough. And I think we can and should improve the scheme further. First of all, we should help the lower income Singaporeans. With a CPF and HDB, for the majority of the population, you can save enough for your retirement. But for a minority, 10, 20%, I think even if they're working, they may not accumulate enough CPF during their working lives. Some of them may not have bought an HDB flat. Some may have no family support to fall back on. And in their case, these individual efforts will not be enough. So the government and the society must help to do more, must do more to help them in their retirement. So for this group, we should supplement their payouts from their own CPF savings with bonus payments from the government. Just the same way as we have workfare to supplement the wages of low-income workers. So we should have a new scheme for low-income elderly. Actually, they're just poor elderly because no more income, but they are poor, they're elderly, and we should call this scheme the Silver Support Scheme. What should the Silver Support Scheme do? We should pay a bonus every year, starting from the age of 65, something extra to help the old folks with their living expenses with the cost of living. It comes from the government, not from their own savings. It's on top of all the other government support and community support which the old people already receive. And it's part of the new way forward that I spoke about last year. We are doing this, the government is helping this group of Singaporeans, but personal responsibility remains important, even while the community and the government plays a larger role. I'm not going into details today. We will announce the details at the budget next year. The second thing we should do with the CPF scheme is to increase flexibility, to make it more flexible. There are two views of the purpose of the CPF funds. One view is, I want to be assured of a steady stream of income in old age. But the other view is, I want a lump sum now because I need money urgently. Now, my view is that the core purpose of the CPF should still be to provide a steady stream of income in old age. But I appreciate why some CPF members want to take more money out, because they've been saving up over a lifetime of work. They want to use some of these savings. They want to do something they've long wanted to do. Some lifetime ambition. They may want to go on a journey. They may want to go on a Hajj. Or maybe they may have run into some family emergency and need money to deal with the emergency. So after considering this for a long time and discussing it with my colleagues, I've decided I will change my view. I will adjust the policy. And I think we should allow people the option to take out part of their CPF savings in a lump sum if they need to, but subject to some limits. The amount which you can take out cannot be excessive. For example, it can be up to 20% of the total that you have, and it should only be during retirement, 65 and beyond. Not suka-suka, anytime you feel you need money, you visit the HDB. He is not your money lender. This is for retirement. We provide this flexibility, but members must understand clearly the trade-off. Because if you take out the lump sum, that means you'll have less left in the CPF, and your monthly payments will also be less. So that's the second thing we should do, make the CPF more flexible. Have the possibility of a controlled lump sum withdrawal in retirement. But there's one more outstanding issue on the CPF, and that is how much should the MS be over the longer term. We have been adjusting the MS over the last 10 years, the minimum sum, because the old number was much too low. And gradually over 10 years, we have been raising it to the current $155,000. And there's one final installment in this adjustment next year, and people have been asking Mom what that will be. And I will tell you that we will decide now that for next year, the number will be $161. for people who are turning 55 from the 1st of July next year. So it's $155 now, it'll go up a little bit, up to $161. But if you have the property pledge, you only need half of this, and that's $80,500. It's a necessary step, but it doesn't change the overall picture much. Next year, if I'm still a financial advisor and Mr. Tan's younger brother comes to me for advice, the sums will be more or less the same as for Mr. Tan. Beyond this, I don't see the need for any more major increases in the MS. But we will still need to adjust the MS from time to time because incomes will go up, so basic spending needs will increase. People are living longer, and we need to provide more money for a longer retirement. Therefore, we need to build more flexibility into the CPF system and give CPF members more choices. So there are some important, I've sketched a couple of key points, but there are few more important issues to consider. For example, how should we adjust the minimum sum beyond next year so that members can continue to get an adequate basic retirement payout? What should be the rules and the limits for taking out a lump sum? How can members have more flexibility to invest their CPF savings, to accept more risks in the hope of higher returns? And for members who prefer payouts to rise over time because we'd like to be able to cope with future rises in the cost of living, how can we offer members options to do that? Because there's a trade-off. There's a finite amount of money. If you want more later on in the later years, it means that you have to have less earlier on in the earlier years. And some may prefer to do that, some may prefer not to. So how can we offer members a good choice to do this? MOM has worked out some possibilities, but CPF changes are very complicated. So we're going to set up an advisory panel to study all this, and MOM will announce details about the panel soon. So the CPF and home ownership provide for our needs when we retire. They are good schemes. They work well for the majority of Singaporeans, but they are not one-size-fits-all policies. They offer different choices for people in different circumstances. But we are going to improve them further so that we can better support lower-income elderly who need more help, and we will make it more flexible so as to meet the needs of more Singaporeans and give you greater assurance and more options in retirement.